Tiny Toon Adventures 2 isn't really a game that comes to mind when you think of, well, anything really, but believe it or not, it was one of my go-to titles for the Game Boy as a kid. Anytime we went on a trip, or a family vacation, or anything involving a long drive, this was one of the first games I'd reach for. Why is it so special? Probably because it's one of the most well-designed, tightly controlled, beautifully scored, flat-out fun platformers on the entire system. I do not make that statement lightly. I know what I'm saying. Anyone who watched the show knows who Montana Max is. They also wouldn't be surprised in the least if he, say, took over the local theater and started only showing movies that he starred in. Now it's up to Buster to literally enter the films and undo the damage. I just want to clarify this game came out in 1993, which means Max's movies are so bad, people would rather be watching Last Action Hero.
You want to be a farmer? Here's a couple of acres.
All kidding aside, from a design standpoint, this is pretty clever. It allows the player to visit all kinds of settings and still have it make sense. I just wish there was more of a movie quality to it. You don't see a single camera in the stages until the final run through the movie set, and I guess that's my only gripe. The one thing this game is missing is the classic humor of Tiny Toons. It's still a great platformer, but a few tongue-in-cheek references and jokes would have gone a long way towards making it truly feel like the show. I don't want to talk about that, though. I've come to realize the only things important enough to mention in a review are factors that legitimately affect your ability to play the game. That said, good platformers and bad platformers are largely separated by a single factor: control. You know those games where you're not entirely sure about whether or not you're going to land on the platform you're aiming for? Yeah, that's bad control. This game has great control. Whenever I fall in a pit, I assure you, it's my fault. It doesn't happen that often, admittedly, considering I have this game down to a science, but the fact that I can do it consistently is a testament to Konami's work. So you got a great game. Now it's time to add the little bells and whistles. Mini-games, in a word. You can shoot some hoops with Plucky, do tug-of-war with Arnold, and even play some soccer, which is crazy hard, by the way. Plucky is easy. Just go to one side, wait half a second for the bar to fill up, and then rapidly switch to the other and launch the ball. You'll score every time. Press down to hold your ground against Arnold when he starts pulling, considering you can't overpower him unless he's tired. You can even build up strength while holding down, so take advantage. You can even practice all of these games before you start a full run by holding B at the start screen. I'm giving you all this advice because each one nets you a continue if you beat it, and if you're anything like me, you're going to need them. Make no mistake, this game is hard. Even as a kid, I was having a hell of a time getting past even the first two intro stages. But I kept pressing on, the good music and familiar characters giving me motivation. I studied the patterns, I watched the stages, I figured out that I can always get Babs on the spinner by aiming for Fifi when I press the A button. And then I got to level 3. Oh, just listen to that music. It's because of Future Flick that I both love and detest this game. It's everything that makes Montana's movie madness good. Creative design, bumpin' music, and plenty of flavor from the setting. Even the dinky little kick, which is normally only good for stunning enemies, serves some purpose here. All your skills are put to the test, and true to form for a penultimate level, this is where things start to get challenging, easing you into some of the best platforming in the game. And then there's the rocket ship. Did you like that? I hope you did, because if you've never played this game before, you're going to be seeing it a lot. It's exactly what it looks like. You screw up even once on this rocket, and you're going in the pit. And you better pray you have enough continues to figure this course out before you game over. Otherwise, you're going all the way back to Western. But Fnu, you say, does this honestly affect your ability to play this game? As a matter of fact, yeah. I have a psychological complex because of this stage. Whenever I'm playing an old school game that I didn't grow up with, and I'm booted all the way back to the beginning, I get mad. And I mean furious. I just don't have the patience to try again, and I blame that mindset on this game. 9-year-old me is still somewhere deep in my soul, and he knows the minute bit of progress I make on try 2 before I inevitably game over again ain't worth it. NASA-endorsed torture devices notwithstanding, I really can't find anything wrong with Adventures 2, even after all these years. Surely other people can see in this game what I see, so why was it overlooked? You might think it's because the original Adventures game was on the NES, so anybody looking at the sequel would think it's a downgrade, but as it turns out, there was another Tiny Toon Adventures 2 on the NES, Troubles in Wacky Land. In fact, there was another Adventures 1 on the Game Boy, meaning there were technically 2 series going on at the same time. Considering this was also the same year Buster Bust Loose was released for the Super Nintendo, I can't really blame people for passing over this one. Which is a shame. If you're a big platforming buff, you owe it to yourself to track this one down, because it's simply too good to pass up. Say hi to Elmira for me.